testified to yesterday completely absolves Joe Biden of any involvement in Hunter Biden's business world. And notwithstanding whatever alleged smoke Chairman Comer says there is, the witness testimony was very clear that Joe Biden was not involved in any of their business dealings. Joe Biden got no benefit. Joe Biden did not change any of his actions for the benefit of his son in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, nobody believes that. That's Representative Goldman who says, yeah, well, Devon Archer's testimony, it just totally absolves him, absolves Biden of any involvement. They keep moving the goalposts. What was it yesterday? What did he say yesterday? He said that that when he was talking with Hunter's business partners, well, it was just because, yeah, he's talking about the weather. And Kane, the only reason that, he was still devastated from losing Bo. Right. Anything they can throw out. Like, don't you criticize him because he was grieving. He was grieving, you horrible person. Welcome back to the show. Dana Loesch here, top of the second hour. And he also said that, well, yeah, he went from no, he didn't talk to them to, okay, well, he did talk to him just to say hi. And then it was, okay, well, he said more than hi. He was talking about the weather. And then it was, well, okay, so he was like talking to them, even maybe more about the weather because he was grieving for Bo, right? But then remember, like they never, audio soundbite 8, they never even talked so much as discussed business. This is the Biden montage on this. Listen.
Never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period. I did anything wrong, and I didn't realize he was on the board till after he'd been on the board, and at the same time, he has come forward and said it was a mistake on his part to be on the board. I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board. I found out he was on the board after he was on the board. And that was it.
The fact is, I was unaware of his investments until it occurred, and I've never discussed what my son's business with him because I didn't want any conflict.
I don't discuss business with my son. I didn't know that was the case. I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. I've never discussed my business or their business, my sons or daughters.
But then, oh, well, he just wanted to say hi, and he was grieving for Bo, and that's what it is. There's so many texts and emails and then the dinners. I mean, what do you do at dinner? He's at a dinner with these people. The New York Times, believe it or not, had this story. Biden spoke with Hunter Biden's associates repeatedly, said Devon Archer. And they wrote, this is the first sentence, quote, "It has long been known that the elder Mr. Biden at times interacted with his son's business partners." Long been known, Kane. It has long been known. Has it been? Because they denied it for like ever. If I didn't welcome you back, welcome back. It is the top of our second hour. Did I welcome people back? I don't remember. I'm like so into this, like the back and forth of it. I'm like, ugh. It's this. I don't think this is literally everything that Trump was indicted for doing. But there was never like any actual criminal charge. I made this point last night talking to my friend. I've known him for over a decade, Jesse Waters. Like Democrats ran this through. No, there's no charge. There's nothing. They just ran it through, just so that they could have the optic of an impeachment and could say that they impeached. But they never had they never got a criminal charge. The other thing too is that, and there's a couple of good pieces on this, coupled with the fraud in the court, and then coupled with a number of things, including the money that came from these companies, and then you had this X amount going to, quote unquote, the big guy. There's a lot of discussions in a lot of these emails, and then I can't wait for the transcript, because apparently that came up too, how much he was getting, etc. I mean, you knew that Biden was a beneficiary of this because he had said he never discussed, well, he talked to his friends, his son's friends, business, but they didn't talk about the overseas business deals. They can't even keep their story straight. That was I remember this because Jen Psaki was saying that they never talked about business. They can't even keep their story straight. And then there was also Tom Elliott, who does RCP, had Daniel Goldman, the guy that we just played, who was saying that it was a preposterous premise to say that Biden shouldn't be talking with his business associates. Well, wait a minute. You were saying, whoa. How do you go from he didn't talk to them to, well, you can't say that he shouldn't talk to them. And then you start to very slowly move it. Well, okay, he said hi. How ignorant are you to not say hi to your son's business associates? Or, oh, well, okay, maybe they did talk a little bit about the weather. I mean, how ignorant are you to think that you're just going to brush off your son's business associates and not have like a little conversation with him? You see how this keeps moving over and over again? But all of that's irrelevant because you have the president on tape literally saying that he did what he's being accused of doing. How is that not open and shut? Kane, that's literally what Trump was impeached for.
Yep.
I mean, literally what he was impeached for.
It's funny they're calling this the illusion when they were literally impeaching Trump over an actual illusion.
I mean, I had to take because I have a little bit of a summer cold, if you can't tell. My voice sounds actually really hardcore. I wish it'd stay like this. This is not an effect of my cold medication, right, Kane? I mean, we are reading all these things properly, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because, wow.
I know. I almost want to drink some cold medicine myself.
Well, it feels like you have. You know what I mean? Like this is craziness. So that's, all of this whole thing, I am just, like, here's the story. I'm going to pull this up. And then we're going to move because I got a million other things. That the Moscow mayor's wife, the $3.5 million, remember, she paid $3.5 million to Hunter Biden. And she is a Russian oligarch. Elena Baturina. She is the billionaire widow of Moscow's former mayor. So she gave $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's company. And her brother, Victor Baturin, told the Daily Mail, a British paper, that it was, quote, a payment to enter the American market. And this was before Devon Archer testified, like way before Devon Archer testified, that her brother told the Daily Mail that was a payment to enter the American market. That was his direct quote. So then yesterday, Devon Archer testified that Hunter's financial relationship with Baturina was actually way more extensive. His company, Rosemont Realty, she invested $40 million into his company. So initially she gave him $3.5 million. Then after that, she invested $40 million into Hunter Biden's company. And the documents that all outline the plan they showed that it was from her company, Inteco Management AG, based in Switzerland, owned by her. It is a plastics and construction behemoth that Daily Mail says made her the richest woman in Russia, one of the richest women in Russia. She has a current net worth of $1.5 billion, according to Forbes. So when Joe Biden was VP in 2014, that's when she wired to Hunter the $3.5 million. And it was done in a series of payments. Now, remember how we were talking about all the shell things? This was one of the things that kicked off a suspicious activity report with the banks. This is one of them. Because she wires him $3.5 million. This is also one of the things apparently he didn't claim and is part of the whole tax evasion thing. Just pause right here. I want you all out there listening or watching the simulcast. If you get $3.5 million, and it's, even though his work is peddling influence, it's work related. What do you think is going to happen to you if you don't claim that with IRS and you're just a regular person? Be honest and you answer me what you think what do you think is going to happen to you? You're gonna get the Hunter Biden treatment, right? Because you got that private citizen privilege, right?
Not so much.
No, you don't think? Yeah, that's right. You're gonna be grabbing your ankles in a jail cell. That's what's gonna happen. So that was in 2014. So the deal was negotiated. It was all done. In 2016, she establishes a U.S. office to oversee her investments. And then she invested another $10 million in some commercial buildings. All of this stuff that was happening with her and what she was sending to Rosemont Realty was flagged as suspicious activity reports that were filed with the U.S. Treasury Department. Again, this is just one of them. She hired a lawyer. They were trying to say that Hunter was not, he wasn't really involved in the day-to-day of Rosemont Seneca, et cetera, because Rosemont Realty is part of that. That's a lie. And here's the big thing. Devon Archer said that Joe Biden had dinner with Batterina in Georgetown before the $40 million investment. And she was also conveniently left off the administration's sanction list. Let's go to audio soundbite 5. KJP was asked why Joe Biden didn't sanction Russian billionaire Elena Batterina, the same woman we're talking about. Listen.
Regarding Russia's sanctions, I'm wondering if you could share the reason why President Biden hasn't sanctioned the Russian billionaires Vladimir Yevtushenkov and Elena Baturina. How is he handling the conflict of interest there, given his son was a business associate of these two people? And can you confirm that as sitting vice president, he dined with Baturina in Georgetown?
I'm just not speaking to anything that's related to his son from here. If you want to ask questions about Hunter Biden specifically, I would refer you to his family. And as it relates to any sanctions, I'm not speaking to individual persons that are from Russia.
It's not his son, though. He was asking about Joe Biden because Joe Biden was the one who was at dinner with her. Joe Biden was the one who met her, and after dinner, that's conveniently when a $40 million payment went through. I mean, I think it's completely germane to the discussion. And if I was that reporter, I would have pressed her on it. We're not going to sit here and go, well, I'm not going to speak to that. They can't sit here and use Hunter as the veneer behind which to hide all of their nefarious activities. I mean, that just makes it even worse. Again, they impeached Trump for literally everything Biden's doing.